What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today we're taking a segue from discussing Gotham Knights and other related comic games to talk about Marvel's Spider-Man the game. Now, many of you know that this game is coming very soon. In a few weeks, it's going to be live on PC. Now, this is a 5-year-old game. So when I said coming very soon, I meant to say coming very soon to PC. Now, my biggest contention about this, even as an avid supporter of the incentive, is that the price point is kind of whack. Now, for the longest time, I've always thought and I've always been optimistic that one day we might see a Spider-Man game show up on PC. Now, the very first time I made mention of these ideas was somewhere around the 2019, 2018 timeframe, I think, and boy, I got ripped apart by the YouTubes. In fact, I think at some point I was told that I was smoking something that didn't need to be recommended for everyone, but I took it as, jest and in stride and just thought to myself, it's not out of the question, but it does sound ridiculous. Even I doubted my own claims and my own hypotheses. Well, come a few years down the road, or half a decade down the road, we're seeing that Marvel is going to pretty much have this game on the PC platform. Or let me be more specific. Sony is going to have Marvel Spider-Man on PC. Now, I have no gripe about this. In fact, I'm a huge proponent that this needs to happen, that this exclusivity does not necessarily need to affect PC players. They're in a whole different realm and dimension, so anyone who's making an exclusive can still bring their games to them and leverage the amount of money that they can possibly make from that. But here's the problem. The pricing that Marvel Spider-Man is bringing to the table, in my opinion, I feel is absolutely outlandish. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take a look at what it is that I'm actually proposing right here, because this is not just something that we can take a look at and be very casual about, because I think what's happening, and a whole lot of other things are probably trying to speak to this, is the possibility that Sony might be engaging in some of those greedy practices that they are very prone to. So let's look at the PlayStation Studios Steam page. Now, this Steam page has the collection of all of the other PlayStation games and their prices. As of now, there is no discount or there's no promotion going on Steam. So you're going to see all the PlayStation games that are available here on Steam at their full price. So we start out by seeing God of War, which I own a PC copy and a PlayStation copy as well. I was just being silly. I thought, I want to try it on PC and just play it just because. And it's $50, $49.49 here in the US, North America region. And so I know maybe it might differ in some other regions. So, bear with me at this price point. You see Days Gone, $49.99. You see Horizon Zero Dawn, $49.99. And you would think that this is probably going to continue the trend with Spider-Man at that price point. The Uncharted game has not necessarily been priced yet. I don't know. They don't have a pre-order date yet, and even The Last of Us, so you're not going to necessarily see that. And I thought in my mind that maybe the Spider-Man game was going to follow this trend. Now, I was just in that position where I said, man, we'll see what happens, because I know this is one of Sony's biggest IPs, but that didn't necessarily pan out. In fact, they're asking for you to actually pay $59.99 for this particular game, and that is the remastered, and you get the DLCs included. Now, it might sound like a fair deal. Don't get me wrong. I strongly believe that, the DLC should be included in the PC version, having been 5 years old. But to be very fair and to be very honest, with all of the discounts that this particular game, that's Marvel Spider-Man, the remastered version, Miles Morales, and all of the DLCs included, has farmed from the PlayStation, ecosystem, I think that pricing is kind of outlandish in my opinion. For them to charge $60 for a game that is 5 years old, that they actually withheld from pretty much like a huge 1/3 or, even more of the gaming community, does not make any sense. Now, I'm not necessarily beating on the price point of this particular game in isolation. I'm certain that maybe there are many people who might say, well, the price point's too high. I already beat the game. What do I care? I'm not going to go back and try to continue to play this game anyways. I'm just going to just move from there. But think about the fact that Miles Morales is also going to be coming to PC. Now, that might be the $49.99, package, but I don't think it's even going to be worth that, to be honest. I think the Miles Morales game should be priced at least close to the $40 mark, nothing more. Anyone who's going to be paying for the game needs to understand that this is what they're going to be getting. in that particular right. So when you kind of think about all of this, you say, okay, what are the other contingencies? What are the other reasons that I'm actually pointing out this price point to be somewhat out there? Well, the second thing that I'm looking at is the Last of Us remake of the remaster, which is, I don't even know what it is that you're going to call it. I mean, Sony and Naughty Dog are developing a game that was from the PlayStation 3 era, that was designed, redeveloped, restructured for the PS4 into a PS5 version, and are asking $70 for that game. Now, granted, there is a lot that was put into that game. There is a huge amount of work that was actually placed within the game in terms of the way that they went ahead and added more accessibility features, the way they went ahead to, go ahead and add some restructured aspects in terms of the graphics and all of the above. But $70 is absolutely greedy from this company that gamers have supported for so many years. And this is why I grew disenfranchised with the console platforms, because you just seem to not be able to give these people enough money. Whereas on PC, there's so many benefits that are given to you for no cost at all that just requires your patronage or whatever it is at some point. And so if you think about, say, maybe a platform like Steam, all you do is you just own your games. If your game has a multiplayer aspect to it, you can just connect to other people on Steam or on the game servers if there's like a matchmaking system, and you go from there. If you're using the Ubisoft Connect or Uplay platform, the same thing happens if they're playing, or you're using multiplayer games, and you can just go ahead and play and connect to people without having to pay the outlandish fees that they're asking for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold or whatever it is. So thinking about those extra costs that are going into PlayStation's coffers, I just think this company is trying to gouge every single dollar that they possibly can from other people in this ecosystem. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it, even though I'm a fan of these things coming to that platform. I can say for sure that Sony is probably going to be learning a very challenging lesson in terms of the way they're pricing these things. Now, I can also go ahead at the same time and say there is that possibility and likelihood that we're going to be getting discounts in the Steam store and the Epic Games store with all of the different incentives, and you're probably going to be able to buy the game for much less than $60. But keep in mind, though, that this particular aspect, in my opinion, for them to even dare to do it, is not going to be the most consumer-friendly thing ever. And I'm not certain that a lot of PC players are going to go ahead and support this anyways. I think they'll most likely wait for a sale if they're trying to buy a second copy, and we'll probably see how the game, is received on PC. They've shown a lot of different details and so on and so forth. But I can tell you that the history of the PlayStation ports to PC have not necessarily been good. I have to be very honest with you. God of War has been basically shutting down one of my PCs. And that PC has got a Ryzen build. I have a 1080 Ti on that PC. And that game runs so hot on that computer, it sometimes would just basically overtemp it and shut it down. I have to play it on an older system to be able to get the best performance out of it, which is kind of weird. But that's a whole different topic. I just wanted to point this out in this video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk very soon in another one. Peace out.